Let's talk about your mind. Think of it like the most powerful computer in the world. But what operating system is it running? And more importantly, how do you debug it when things go wrong?
Because let's be honest, right? Sometimes it feels like that OS is just full of bugs. You get that spinning wheel of anxiety that just won't quit, or those constant pop-up notifications of distraction pulling you in a million directions. And then there's the big one, the blue screen of dread when you even think about the future. It's frustrating, it's exhausting, and it just slows you down. Sound familiar?
Well, what if I told you there's a software patch for all of that? A patch that's been tested and refined for over 2,000 years to fix these exact bugs. Here at the Chronicler's Desk, we dig through history to find these kinds of timeless, practical ideas. And today, we're tracing the code of this incredible program, all the way from ancient Rome right to the screen you're looking at now. Welcome.
To really get this, we have to meet the original programmers. And you gotta understand, these weren't academics sitting in some comfortable, quiet library. No. These were men of action, living and often dying in the incredibly high-stakes, high-stress world of the Roman Empire.
I mean, just take a look at Seneca. This was not some guy meditating on a mountaintop. He was a famous writer, sure, but he was also one of the wealthiest men in all of Rome. Oh, and he was the top advisor to the emperor, the completely unhinged and dangerous Emperor Nero. For a guy like Seneca, philosophy wasn't some abstract hobby. It was a hardcore survival tool for a life spent dealing with political disaster, exile, and, the constant threat of execution.
So, what does a tool from this ancient survival kit actually look like? Well, one of Seneca's core exercises was something we could call voluntary hardship. Think of it like you're deliberately running a stress test on your own system. The whole idea is to build up your resilience by choosing to experience a little bit of discomfort now so you can handle a whole lot of misfortune later if it comes.
And this was not just a thought experiment. Seneca gave literal instructions, homework basically. He'd say, set aside a few days, live on the cheapest bread and water, wear your worst clothes, sleep on the floor. Why? So you could finally ask yourself that killer question, is this it? Is this the terrible thing I was so afraid of? See, by rehearsing poverty, you rob it of its power. You're patching that fear of the unknown bug in your own code.
Now here's what's so cool. An idea this powerful doesn't just disappear when an empire falls. Not at all. Like a brilliant piece of open source code, it was preserved, it was copied, and it was passed down through the centuries, finding new users and new applications in every single era.
You can really see this incredible relay race through time right here. You've got Seneca in ancient Rome writing these super practical letters. The empire collapses, but the texts survive. Okay, now fast forward more than 1,000 years to the Renaissance. Thinkers like Montaigne pick up that baton, rediscovering these Stoic ideas and weaving them into their own work. And that brings us right up to today, where this ancient operating system is getting a full-on reboot for the 21st century.
So, what does this reboot even look like? Well, the most amazing thing is how little the core programming has actually changed. Today's users are running the same fundamental mental routines that Seneca was, just, on different hardware and in a totally new world.
Let's do a direct side-by-side comparison. We just talked about Seneca, way back in ancient Rome. He was deliberately practicing hardship, sleeping on the floor, eating bad food, all to get over his fear of losing his status and wealth. It was his mental training.
And now look at today. You've got entrepreneurs and authors like Tim Ferriss talking about doing the exact same thing. He calls them comfort challenges, and he'll do things like sleep on the floor or eat only simple food for a week. The goal? The same as Seneca's, build mental toughness and reduce fear. It's literally Seneca's code just running on a modern device.
Here's another amazing example of a Stoic principle in action. It comes from Jocko Willink, a former Navy SEAL commander. His go-to response for any problem, any setback, any total disaster is just one simple word: good. Now this isn't some naive optimism. It's a strategic move. It's a mental trigger that flips a switch from, oh no, this is awful, to, okay, what's the solution?
What's running underneath Jocko's good mantra is a core Stoic superpower. It's called the art of acquiescence. Basically, it's this deep acceptance that you don't control what happens to you, but you 100% control how you respond. So an obstacle is never just a dead end. It's always a new starting line, a new chance to practice courage and creativity.
And if you're thinking, wow, this is starting to sound a lot like modern therapy, well, you've hit the nail on the head. Stoicism is the direct philosophical ancestor of what's known as cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, which is one of the most scientifically validated therapies we have today.
I mean, just look at the parallels. Stoicism is all about changing your judgments about things. CBT is all about changing your cognitive patterns. The words are different, but the engine is almost identical. It's ancient wisdom confirmed by modern science.
You know, if you believe that history holds powerful keys to solving our modern problems, and if you're getting some real value out of this deep dive, this is probably a great time to subscribe and ding that little notification bell. We're always digging into the past to find game-changing ideas like this, and we'd absolutely love to have you along for the next exploration.
All right, so we've traced the code from Seneca to the Navy SEALs and all the way to the therapist's office. Now comes the most important part. How do we actually install this patch on our own operating system?
Okay, first, and this is so important. We have to clear up the biggest misconception about Stoicism. This is not about becoming an emotionless robot. It's not about suppressing what you feel. It's about understanding where those emotions come from, they come from your judgments, and then choosing not to be a slave to them. It's the difference between feeling angry and letting that anger drive your car off a cliff.
And why should you even trust this approach? Because this operating system has been in beta testing for over 2,000 years. It has been run by emperors and slaves, by soldiers in battle, and artists in their studios, under the most extreme conditions you can possibly imagine. This isn't some new life hack fad. It's durable. It flat out works.
So I'll just leave you with this one question. Think about your own mental operating system for a second. What's one recurring bug you deal with? Maybe it's the fear of what other people think. Or maybe it's that constant anxiety about a future you can't control. What's one simple Stoic tool, one little patch we talked about, that you could apply right now, today, to begin that upgrade?